Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Unspoken Truth podcast, where the mission is to hear the story, to have the margarita conversation instead of the Diet Coke one, and to share the amazingness and superpower of every woman that comes on the podcast. My name is Paige Brown, certified leadership and shadow work coach, nationally certified counselor with over 16 years of experience in shadow work and self-sabotage. And today I'm joined by Sienna, who's a 3-time certified yoga instructor, including Kemetic yoga and cannabis plant medicine informed practice. And she has 10 years and more experience in teaching experience in 5 years as an integrative nutrition coach. She's worked in the service industry for 13 plus years and now chooses to work directly with people in that industry to help remedy the specific health challenges that she knows that they're up against. And I'm just super excited to have her because she is very pregnant and and I'm like, we just don't need to just don't drop the shorty while we're talking on the podcast.
Can't make any promises, but
I know, right? She's like, I'm ready. I'm done. Let's go.
Right.
But Sienna and I met online, and just when I was just doing like a search, because I was like, I need people to come on this podcast, and she just struck me because I just think it's really cool too, because I've been following you now more, right, on social media, and it's just like you're working with so many different I think a different population, right, than normally gets serviced, because she worked behind the bar. She knows exactly like the stressors that go into being in the service industry. And I do think a lot of people just overlook the service industry as a whole as having a stress, right? Like we think of people that work behind, at least I used to, right? Like I used to think of like, oh, people that work behind a bar, it's like, oh yeah, whatever. What kind of stress do they have, right? They're serving drinks. People are happy. Like people are going to tip them good, which never happens. I do, but like, a lot of people don't tip well, and they're still like getting underpaid drastically because of the tips, because that's the rationale, right? It's like, oh, well, you get tipped well, so you don't need a salary that,
Hourly,
exactly. So that's a lot of stress in itself. And then also like
health insurance.
Exactly. No health insurance. No, unless you're working at an extremely high end restaurant where, you are, and I know that even probably then you don't have the health benefits, but even if you're working at an extremely high-end restaurant where you're guaranteed to have those tips, because that is just the thing that happens at those higher-end restaurants, which are few and far between now. Most of those high-end restaurants don't even exist anymore. Mm-hmm. But you have that stress, and then you have like the physical stress of like being on your feet all day. Yeah. And then you're having like the mental stress because we were talking about like you're getting unloaded on like pretty much like a therapist anyway. Yeah. For people as soon as they get 2 cocktails in them, all of a sudden it's like my entire life story. So
the harder it is because you're being held to a higher standard. I have to wear a fucking tie and like and I'm wearing a button down. I'm not supposed to get cranberry juice all over myself. You know what I mean? Like
you get bumped into and it's like, oh, there it goes, and then you have to change your shirt because you can't. That's such a stressor. Why did you so like walk us through this, because we talked a little bit, but nobody else really knows you, is why did you choose the service industry to work in to begin with, and then what's kind of been the pivot, right?
Yeah.
So tell us that story.
So I don't even know if anyone really chooses to work in the service industry. The industry sort of chooses you. And anyone who works in the service industry now will attest to that, I'm sure. It's one of those things where it's like, I was in college in Arizona in 2009 and I needed a job. And so I started working at Chipotle, rolling burritos. It was fun and everything. And then eventually I moved. So I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I went to Arizona for college, did not like it, dropped out, came back to the Bay Area because Arizona was weird. Coming from the Bay Area where everyone is like a certain type of way, like politically and just like the vibe. It was so different. It was too much change for me. And so I came back home and I still worked at Chipotle, which was hilarious. I just transferred to a different store. And then
career Chipotle.
Yeah. I'm a Chipotle vet, okay? I also want to say the other day I went to Chipotle belly out, just looking hella pregnant, and they gave me like all my food for free, everything that I ordered, and I was like, fuck, I should have asked for guac.
That's amazing.
If I knew we were gonna hook it up. But anyway, I'm working at Chipotle. I'm like 20 years old in San Francisco, and someone came in and was just like, "Bitch, why are you working at Chipotle? You're so cute, and like you seem like you got so much else going on. You should come and work at this like cocktail bar instead." And I'm like, "Oh, well, it was just like so flattering, you know." I got like coached. I'm like, "Okay, yes, sweep me off my feet." So I go, and I'm like serving cocktails, and then it just like all of a sudden it was like, yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like it just kind of spiraled out of control. But somewhere along the line, probably I think I was 20 or 21 when I first started yoga, because I was like, hold on, I'm exhausted. I need something, you know. And me and my friend, you know, I was 21 years old. Me and my homegirl were like, okay, we want to have cute booties. So let's go to this donation-based yoga class so that we can build a booty for free, right? So we started doing it, and eventually I was like, oh, like something really clicked for me, that it was no longer about fitness and trying to have a cute booty. Like, I'm 21 years old, my booty's as cute as it's gonna be, you know?
Yeah.
Booty is fine. It's not even a concern. And I remember the first time that I really got into like a flow state, you know, where I was doing a vinyasa where you start in upper push-up, you lower halfway, lift your chest, and then you push back, downward facing dog. And I felt weightless, and I felt like my mind like just was shut off, and I didn't have to think about it, and my breath was just guiding me. And then all of a sudden class was over, and I felt like so transformed, and that was the first time that had ever happened to me. And I realized like, oh, this is something so much else. Like, this is so much better than I thought. And I ended up using that practice at home. I would go to the beach and do yoga. I wanted to bring all my friends. I was like, everybody, I was trying to convert everybody to be a yoga person. You know how it is. I'm just like, this feels so good, and it's so easily accessible. All I have to do is these simple exercises and use my breath, and I can unlock this different state of consciousness. Like, no amount of weed, no margarita is gonna put me into this plate. Like, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And so I got serious about it. And then by the time I was 24, I did my first yoga teacher training, and I just kept going from there. I've done 3 teacher trainings at this point, but I really struggled to figure out, who do I want to teach yoga to. I felt like for a really long time, I was trying to teach yoga to people who didn't want to learn yoga. And I put myself in this position where I was like trying to convince people all the time. And like, I'm just like, no, you know, trust me, you need this. And I'm trying to work with people who already practice yoga, or people who, people who are already into it. And I was trying to teach classes like to a more advanced person, but being a new teacher was hard. And eventually, like in the last like year or two, I finally realized like, oh wait, I don't have to talk to people who have a completely different background from me, who don't understand me, who are not interested in yoga. I can talk to the people in the service industry just like me, who are exhausted, are on their feet all day, are looking for a quick fix to get a cute booty, you know? Like, people who did the exact same shit as me, had the exact same mindset. And I can help them so much better because I understand exactly where they're coming from, especially having done so much yoga, training, studying, learning, and working at so many different types of bars and restaurants all at the same time. It's like, it's crazy. It feels so weird. I'm like the weirdo in whichever space I go to. When I'm at yoga, I'm the weirdo because I still smell like whiskey because I was at the bar all night last night. Not because I was drunk as fuck, but because just like when I worked at Chipotle, I smelled like salsa all the time. When I worked at a restaurant, I smelled spicy all the time. When I work at a bar, I smell like whiskey all the time. You know, like, it is what it is. Yeah, there's weed crumbs on my yoga mat because I was working some personal inner shit out the other night. Like, this is what it is. And so I finally was able to bring myself to a place where I'm not trying to force this onto anyone anymore. I know how good it is, and I've just let myself shift into an energy of attracting the people that see it for how I see it too, and people who are like, ooh, wait, what is that? I want to try some. So it's finally gotten so much easier to talk about now that I'm talking to the right people. I'm talking to people who get me, and because they get me, I get them too. And it's just, everything is just flowing so much better. I'm really glad that I finally had the realization. And what was hard too at first, and I was so young, I was the youngest person in my first teacher training. Like, I was the youngest person at the bar. The youngest person to have been doing it for so long too. I got my first bar job before I was even 21. I lied about my age because I just needed money. And, so, I was always like the young girl. No one wanted to listen to me. Everybody was like, oh, honey, that's cute. Oh, you're going to yoga. I love that for you. Kind of like, oh, you're on your yoga shit. I can't tell you how many times people described it as my yoga shit, and that would hurt my feelings so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It just made me feel so othered and separate from people. But then also at yoga, I felt othered too, because I'm the one that, like, my hair smells a little bit like smoke, and like there's, I'm wearing the Forget About It t-shirt, and I'm like with my fucking High Life beanie on or whatever, and it's like, you can be both, and a lot of times people are not very receptive to that. So that was tough to navigate, and I'm finally on the other side of it, and I feel fucking awesome.
No, that's a good lesson though, because it's really about when you start to shift into what's actually supposed to be meant for you. Like, I think this happens to everybody. Like, it's not just like, I feel like we all feel othered when we start to really embrace the path that we're supposed to go on.
Yeah.
Because I have felt that way too, because I went from like the counseling background of like the psychology and the logic and like all of the formulas, and then I'm sitting here going like, no, we're gonna go into our body, and we're gonna start with the root chakra, we're gonna open that up, and we're gonna kind of go, and it's I was one of those people that was like yoga. And I ended up having to do yoga because I hurt myself, and I couldn't do, like, I've always been a workout person, like, since I was like 12 years old. Right. So not going to the gym was not an option for me, or doing some kind of workout. So when I hurt myself, I was like, well, what can I do? And my doctor's like, you can do yoga. And I was like, I don't want to do yoga. Like, I did not want to do yoga. Yeah. And this was when I was in my 20s, actually. So it was kind of funny. Yeah. And I didn't do it for a purpose. I did it because I had to, like, I was like, I want to move. So how am I supposed to do it? Okay, yoga. Yeah. And I will say this, I am not a yoga person. I will still say that. But only because of the fact that I really struggle with the movements of it. And I know that if I just bore down and just did it, like, I would get it. But what I loved about yoga was the breath work of it and the identification of the stuff in your body. And that's really what actually led me to the path that I took down. So yes, yoga was still like that, almost like gateway drug to the thing, right? Like, to the thing that I really wanted to do and be, but I didn't even realize it at the time, because I was in my 20s. But I think too, it says something about you even being so young that you were able to identify that you were tired, and you're like, let's try yoga. Even though at first, like, the mission behind it, like, I think consciously was like, I want a cute booty, but at the same time it was like, I think your body was like, no, this is going to be really amazing for you, and like the universe is like, go through the freaking door, like, just take it. And the fact that you were able to connect that, I think that's really awesome. And like, I just want to turn it back a little bit to that othered thing, is that, like, I think there's a lot of people listening that do feel that way. Like, if you're in the space, right? Like, if you're trying to do anything new, it doesn't have to be an entrepreneurship. It doesn't have to be that you're creating your own career. It doesn't have to be, you could be like the quote unquote weird kid that shows up, right? Like, you're not like that person that is fitting in a box, which I was like, why are we trying to put people in so many freaking boxes? Like, we do not need labels. And if you're like the weird kid, or the weird, you feel like even as an adult that you're sort of that weird person, okay, embrace that weirdness, because seriously, I'm weird. I mean, I own it, and I love my weirdness. Like, I have freaking, you can't see it right now because my, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, my light was strobing behind me. I looked like I was in a rave. We were owning it. So I have this fake background up right now, but like behind me, I have all these like freaking, Legos, and I have like, pop dolls and stuff like that, because I absolutely love Star Wars still. And I absolutely am a Harry Potter kid, and will never, never, ever not believe that Hogwarts is not real somewhere in my life. But like, that's the thing, right? Right. That's the thing. And so if you are a person that you feel like stands out, I think that's the thing that we need to take away from this, is that you probably are supposed to do something bigger or more, or just more, bring that newness to light, right? Because that's something I had to do, that too, step into like talking to the right people about it, because I don't do yoga is such a like a known thing. Like everybody knows yoga, and everybody understands chakra work, or at least like has heard of chakras. But like for me, when I started doing my work, it was like I'm like, I bring women home to themselves, and they were like, well, how the hell do you do that? And so like I ended up having to yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you mean? Is that real? Is that like a real I used to get like people used to think I was a I know. People used to think I was like in a pyramid scheme. I was like, no, like I don't have a team. I'm not selling. I'm not selling supplements or anything like that. Like, I don't understand, but it's really, for me, the simplest form I could say is like, I bring women home to themselves, and it's because I want them to come in that body and leave that stress from their brain in the trunk of the car or something like that, whatever it is, but behind them, right? And so coming into their body and really being present in that. So the fact that you can actually like at a young age, I didn't vacate my 9-to-5 position until I was 36. I'm 41. I wish I was able to do that sooner. You know what I mean? I wish I had that, that conviction, but I did it. But at the same time, I look at it going like, I wasn't ready then to do it, right? So I had to look at it like, it's like I had to have all the pieces before I could do it. So like the fact you had it so young is like, so jealous. Like, I love it.
But what happened too is like through yoga, I learned like, I don't have another option. This is who I'm supposed to be. And I don't know how I'm going to really fully flesh this out and manifest like the fullness of who I'm supposed to be, but I'm never going to stop trying. And it took me a long time for it to start feeling easy, but it's just been so important. And I'm glad that you kind of honed in on the feeling othered piece of this, because this is a conversation that I keep having lately too with my clients and with people who are like interested in working with me. And, we've been having these conversations. Same thing keeps coming up where they're like, I have these big ideas. I want to shift out. I don't want to do this anymore, and I want to start doing this. But who am I to think that I can pull this off? And, not only am I having like self-doubt, I'm feeling like, people like me don't get to XYZ. This is not something that is available for people like me. I should have been, born into a different type of environment or whatever. But then they're like, the next level is like, okay, I started trying it. I got the confidence to just go try it. But now I don't get along with any of my friends. People think I'm being a bitch. And it's like, no, I'm not being a bitch. My vibration is different now, and it's uncomfortable to you, and you don't know how to name that emotion, but it's because I'm growing and changing and blossoming. And you are probably growing and changing and blossoming too, but in a different way and on a different playing field. And
it's just going like this.
Frustrating because we've been together this whole time, and now we're separate. So it must be you. It's your fault, and you're wrong for it. And how do I navigate that? And that's something that I've navigated for so long on both sides of trying to combine wellness industry with party nightlife industry. There's so much resistance there, but the fact of the matter is, like, you can't have a sustainable career in nightlife if you are not taking care of yourself, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating well, if you're first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is you grab your vape and you're fucking sucking down nicotine all day, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to get moved up, you're not going to become a general manager, you're not going to open your own restaurant one day, there's no upward progress to be made. So as soon as you do start combining these things together, now all of a sudden all these new opportunities are coming for you, and the other people who didn't think of that are going to hate on you. They can't help it, and it's not.
But that's jealous. That's them. Yeah. That is totally them, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, that's why when I started doing, so I did the same stuff. When you are stepping into your own vibrational power, the people that cannot meet that vibration will fall off, and it's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
That is not blame to be had. There is not any, I'm not telling you as the person who is leveling up in your vibration that it doesn't suck. Because it does. It does suck, because you're like, that was my friend at one point, and now they're kind of shaming me for just wanting to be a better version of myself. But
now becoming a mom, I'm sure you had a similar
experience. Exactly, because you're just going through a different experience than them, and you're outgrowing those friendships, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with anything, and there's no blame. Like I said, my shaman always says, if in honest communication, there's no blame to be had, right? So if you are literally being the honest person, right, you are showing up authentically yourself. But that's why I created the women's group that I created. That's why I did that, because because I used to work with men as well, and I loved my guys. I still have like one. I still have one that I work with, and I love him. But like, So if you're listening to this, you know I love you. Anyway, so but like, I have mostly women, right? But like, the reason why I created a group for women is because those relationships are more essential to us than they are to men. Men are very much more independent creatures, and they can just do touch bases and like keep it moving. And they also recognize that when they do have a friend that falls off, usually another one kind of comes to replace it. And their vibrational growth, I've noticed this, their vibrational growth mostly affects their intimate relationships more than their friendships, because there's a different connection there versus women. Women get affected on all forms of their relationships. And it's like, I've seen it where it's a romantic relationship that falls off or a friendship that falls off. And it's not, again, it's a healthy growth experience. It's not like there's a hateful, thing going on. Yeah. But that's why I created that group, because like that, I love the name, so I always say it, but shift happens, because when you're shifting, shit happens. Like, it just happens. And you want to create that community of, that support, that authentic support of like, I'm also going through a personal growth movement with you, and so I see your leveling up and your growth, and I respect you for it, and I want to cheer you on. Versus I don't like the fact that you're leaving me in the dust, and I am now jealous of that. And it's because you can see that you as a person, Sienna, are like this person that is like, I am confident in what I have. Now, granted, we might be experts in our fields, but we still have to do personal growth all the time. There's and I'll educate you on this, because I know I'm also older than you. But for me, I look at it as an excitement, and it's no longer like an annoyance for me, because I look at it as like, every time I level up is something new about me that I get to learn, which means there's something new about somebody else that I get to learn, or it opens up a door for me to meet another person that I can actually bring into my world. And I think that like, I've looked at it now as more, when I'm shifting up and I'm leveling up in my vibration, as like, okay, what's the exciting thing that's going to happen now? Like, versus like, oh crap, I have to like go through that emotional thing again. Like, I mean, and that's okay, because sometimes I do feel like that when it's like a heavy day, right? Like, if I'm like, oh, I got to process that. Okay, that's crazy. But it's also an awareness, and I actually get excited after I've processed it to be like, oh, that's that cool thing I just learned about myself after I go through it, but, and I'm honestly excited for myself to do that, because I know that I've then sort of like, I would say like in Mario, right? You leveled up. You get like the 1-up mushroom,
totally
kind of thing. It's like the green mushroom. You got it. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, so it's like, for you, it's like, when you're working with your people and it's like they're othered and they don't feel like it, that they fit in, it is hard, because I see it all the time. Like, I see it too. It's like, oh, I'm leaving. And that's why I created those groups, and so it's really important, that if you guys are listening to this, just to keep communicating with the people that are staying with you, because I think too, like, when you are going through this, what's it called? Like this up level, when you're going through this up level to keeping, and you want to keep people in your world, if you keep communicating, that's the biggest key to, I think, the success that you're going to have, because that's what keeps if you want to keep certain people in your world, like say like you're married, like, right, and that's something that you want to hang on to, the communication and the open sharing is what actually creates that. I think we lost Sienna. Hold on. We'll get her back. She came back. We got her back. So anyway, but that's what it is, right? It's about that open communication and really making sure that you keep those people apprised of like kind of what you're learning about yourself. Because the more that you hold that in, because that's I don't know if you did this, but when I first started doing all this, there was so much stuff that I was uncovering that I was almost like ashamed of, because there was so many things that I realized I was doing wrong that I didn't want to share that, right? But in reality, it's stuff that everybody does, but we just don't ever want to talk about it. Like I was like people pleasing, or being, like people pleasing is considered to be manipulation, right? Like that's like a thing. And I was like, I don't want to be a manipulator. I don't want people to know that I was a manipulator. They knew anyway, because they knew I was a people. It's like, it's very evident. So I'm like, why am I ashamed of sharing that, or the lessons learned from that, right? So
for me, I had that too a lot, because it was like, well, and of course, as I started becoming a teacher and a coach too, I was working with my own teachers and coaches to help guide me through this. And coaches are always saying like, oh, the one thing that that you keep from people is probably the thing that like will inspire people, like share more about yourself. And I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to teach yoga. I don't think I need to talk about like me drinking too much because I work at a bar full time, or like, I don't think any of that is going to help. I just couldn't see how like me actually sharing the truth of like what I'd be doing on a regular basis, staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning, working out, being on my feet, eating French fries for dinner every single day, like that's not going to help someone want to hire me to be their yoga coach, but what I realized is, it does.
Yeah.
Actually, because as soon as I did start talking about it, the right people started showing up. The people who were like, oh yeah, I'm going through that too. Oh, yoga helps you with that? Oh, then maybe it will help me with it too, And it's like, we don't need to be ashamed of where we came from. And a lot of the work too, and I'm sure this is the same case for you and like your group and everything as well, is like, people come and they're like, I know it's going to be uncomfortable and I'm ready to move up, but I just need someone to like mirror my power back to me and let me know that like I am on the right path, and it's gonna be hard, and so what, and this may be tough, but I'm tougher. It's like you really just need somebody who's like, no, and I don't even have to totally get it. I have a lot of clients randomly. I get a lot of nurse clients, which like I'm never marketing to nurses on purpose. I don't know why. It keeps happening. I've always had nurse clients, like since day one.
But I think too, like they're on their feet so much, and like they probably aren't actually taking care of themselves like they should, like they tell everybody else to, because
insane hours.
They have insane. I mean, luckily they have like salary, right, which is counter to the other population that you serve. But I think that like it's. To me, it's like for my women, it's this fear of actually going into themselves, and maybe this is something that you guys experience as well. But like, it's a fear of going into themselves, because they don't want to know what they're gonna find, right? Like there's no hiding, and my core principle is like, you have to be honest with yourself. Like if you're not honest with yourself, because we do this all the time, and I know personally I do this, right? Like because I about 3 years ago, roughly 3 years ago, that's when I started having that conversation of like, I don't think I want to serve the same population I'm serving anymore, right? But it wasn't taking off, and I was starting to like switch into the different modalities, but it wasn't really taking off because I wasn't being honest with myself, which was I wanted to shift modalities, and I wanted to shift the people I was serving, but I was scared that I was not going to be able to show up for them, because I thought I felt like I was a fraud, because I was still personally struggling with things. And I was like, for some reason, serving men was easier for me because we were different genders than like the problems that women were having that I was still having. So I was like, how the heck am I supposed to show up for them? And it was that honest like conversation that I actually have for myself, because I was lying to myself. I was like, oh, I know I can do this. I know I can serve women. I know I can relate to them, blah, 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 blah. I was lying to myself all the time. And then I was like, I'm actually terrified that if I show up for women, that I'm not going to actually resonate with them at all, because I've always been more of the tomboy, like you said, othered, right? Like I've always been more of the tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been more of like the athletic one, the non, like, I don't like skirts. Do not give me a
Yeah.
skirt, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
That's why we vibe. I'm like that too.
yes, exactly. But there's other women like that, and I'm like, why can't I serve those women, right? Not every
Yeah.
woman is the
But
same.
those
And
women are not looking for a women's group.
no, and I mean, and I am not, personally, I'm like, I respect women that can dress up and look like they got all their shit together every single day. I respect that.
Yeah.
I can't relate to it though.
I do not.
And my husband's like, well, what kind of woman do you want to serve? And I was like, I don't know. And I'm sitting here trying to like look like them, and I'm like, this is the most uncomfortable shit I've ever done in my life. And so for me, I'm like,
Yeah.
give me like the tank top, the blazer. Like I do more like jacket, leathery type jackets and jeans.
Yeah, like a bomber.
Yeah, yeah, and Nike shoes, and that's me. Like that's me and Nessa, or Nike and Adidas. Those are the two. Those are my two jams. But that's what makes me feel comfortable. And then if it's hot outside, you better know that I'm going to be in a pair of flip flops. But like, I cannot show up in. I love to dress up when there's the occasion for it, like, and I like to put on my earrings and get real pretty and special every once in a while. But on the day-to-day basis, yeah. But day-to-day basis, this is me. Like, this is what you're gonna get. Either that or I got a hoodie rocking on. Like, that's just the way I am. And I didn't want to serve the woman that was gonna show up to my calls and have like, pearls on or whatever. And nothing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I want to make that clear. Like, I love you guys. Like, seriously, but. I didn't want to do that. And I felt like I was trying to attract, though, the pearl woman by being my Nike self. You know what I mean? And I was like,
energy.
exactly. And so then when I finally was like, screw it, I'm going to put this hat on. Like I told you right before we got on the call, I had a backwards hat. You guys, if you're not watching me on YouTube, I'm wearing a freaking backwards hat. And it's this, it's Overlord. Maybe I can get a sponsor at some point. Overlord. And it's called like Hypnotoad. It has Hypnotoad on the back of it from Futurama, because that's how I was. But I put a backwards hat on because I was having a bad hair day, and I had brand photos done in my leather jacket with my tank top on and my jeans. And everybody's like, that's a vibe. And I'm like, all right, let's roll with it, because that's just the way I am.
And it's because it's authentic. It's because it's who you really actually are.
Yes.
And so it's like... And I'm glad that we got onto this topic, because it's like everything is energy. You're going to attract what you are.
Yes, exactly.
So it makes sense even that you were attracting male clients. I attract so many male clients too. And it's like, okay, I want to help as many people as I can. I don't really care. I want to help people that are into yoga. But really, unfortunately, what makes it challenging for me is I want to help people that are not already into yoga. Mm-hmm. I take it very serious being someone's first yoga teacher ever, because you have the responsibility to teach them what the practice is actually about underneath. Like, this is not about being fit and getting a workout on and being like I'm not a Lululemon yoga girl. Like, you're not going to catch me with like a Stanley Cup. Like, I'm just not. There's a yoga avatar. Like, there's a yoga girl, and there's I feel like, now that I'm talking about it, there's like two different avatars for yoga girl, and a lot of people who work in the service industry and nightlife and are like, living this more like alternative, I guess you could call it, lifestyle, I'm not going to be the girl with the fucking dreadlocks and Birkenstocks and brown juice, and I'm not going to be the girl in the $300 pants with the fucking $100 manicure and the Stanley Cup and everything polished. There's something in between there.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I want to talk to. And those are the people I'm like, you can use this to heal you. If you're drinking and smoking too much and you feel like the service industry is where you belong because you don't have to put on a blazer and be someone that you're not, you're probably doing that to drown out some type of sorrow, some type of trauma, something that you're not ready to deal with. Your yoga practice can help you deal with that. We can smoke weed together and we can get into it and actually heal you. And then from this healed place, you can choose whatever the fuck you want. You can choose, oh, I feel so much better now and I want to stay in the service industry. I don't give a fuck. But the point is for you to heal yourself right where you are. You don't need to change who you are in order to heal.
No, I think that and that's the thing, right? And I feel like I actually, when I was healing, found myself more, right? Because that's the thing, like, and I used to be, this is who I used to be when I was a teenager. And then along the way, because I went into college and I went into the actual like 9 to 5 lifestyle, it's like I lost that piece because I felt like I had to show up differently. And that's another reason why I felt like the 9 to 5, even though it was like the therapy background for me had many reasons of why I actually left, because of like the boxes and all that stuff again. But it was like, it didn't feel like me. Like I couldn't show up just being me. Right. And so I left that, but I didn't really know that that was the core reason until I started really doing a lot more work. And I've been working on myself, I would say, solidly since I was 23 years old, and I'm 41, right? Like, so there's like there's a huge difference. And I think that what you said is resonant too, is like, for me, is that like I want the in-between woman as well. Like, I don't want the one that's got like the multi-million-dollar, entrepreneurship journey, even though like I respect that wholeheartedly. And I think that that's amazing that they've been able to achieve that. But then at the same time, like, I don't want to get the girl that's right at the beginning of the journey that doesn't understand what they're doing yet. And it's like, and I love that you want the person right at the beginning that's you're teaching them that yoga piece. But for me, it's like, I want somebody who's in the trenches in their business and is in that point where I was, and have been before. I would say a couple of times where, and maybe you felt this too, like, it's like, it's like, I know what I want. I know there's this whole mission out there for me, and I just feel like I can't freaking get there. And it's like, they're there and they're doing stuff every single day and they're working it and they're making the money that they want to make within reason, right? Like they're making that, maybe they hit their first 6-figure year or whatever, or maybe they hit like that high 5-figure year. And they're like, I feel good. Like I've been able to pay my bills. Like I'm able to pay my bills. I feel like I've built a solid business. And then it's like, but now what's next? And I feel like there's something there. Cause for me, a lot of the women I work with are the ones that have, they've driven themselves into the ground in a way. It's almost like it feels like burnout, but it's not, because they know that they still want to keep going, but it's like they're going in the wrong direction. Like they did the thing that they were told to do would work. And so they've done it, but now they're like, I did the thing and I'm making the money, but I'm not really happy because it's not the way that I wanted it to be. Right. Yeah. And that's how I felt. Like I did all the stuff that worked. Like I made the money, but then I was like, I'm not serving the population necessarily that I want to serve. And I'm not showing up the way I want to show up for the people that I work with. And so it was like, how do I not be othered, in that quotes, right? And just do this, because there's so many different ways of doing it, right? But yeah, that's my, I want the people that feel othered. I think that's really what it is. Like, I mean, if we're gonna put it into a nice little package, and I think too for you, that's what you're serving too, is those people that feel kind of like out of pocket, in that space. I love that.
I want the lone wolf. I want the person who doesn't know, who doesn't think, like the person who thinks like that support doesn't exist for them. Mm-hmm. The person who thinks they have to figure it out all on their own. Yeah. I want them to realize you don't have to figure it all out on your own. But for me, as a lone wolf type of person myself, like I always butt heads with my coaches and my teachers because I ask questions. I'm not going to just blindly follow you. I'm not going to just check all the boxes and do all the things just because you said so. I'm not that type of person. I want you to pour all the information out, put it in your little document or whatever you need to do, and let me interpret it how I'm going to interpret it. And then I'm going to run with it how I want to run with it. I need to be able to see an example and then change it up and let my intuition guide me to do it how I want to do it. And so the person that I want to work with is the same type of person who also is like, just give me a little bit of like an outline. I don't need you to give me a full-on checklist or a to-do list. Just like give me a general shape, like what are we going for here? And then I can figure out how to fill in the blanks by myself. And then with my guidance, I can be like, okay, yes, I see you're making so much progress on this. This is awesome. I wouldn't have thought of doing it that way. This is great. Love this for you. Let's keep you, give you some bumpers so that you're still, coloring it within the lines. But you don't have to use brown. You could use purple. You could use green. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree.
I'm going to give you general, like, the first thing I ever do with a client, the first thing is we sit down and we do a deep meditation together. We do like a full body scan. I ask you to figure out where the resistance is in your body. Later, I'll show you how we're going to balance that chakra center in your body based on wherever the resistance is coming from. But right now, we're just taking inventory. Find out what's up with you. What's going on? How do you feel? What do you want? Get really clear on what do you want. What are your goals? Once we know what your intention is and what you really want for yourself and your business, or maybe you're not even trying to start a business, maybe you just want to feel good, whatever your intention is, we break that down into goals so I can help you keep track that, yeah, I'm moving towards that intention. After we have your goals set, then we create an affirmation for you. And this is always my favorite part because I have them like use like a dry erase marker and write their affirmation on the mirror in their bathroom, and then they'll send me a selfie for accountability. I'm like, send me a fucking mirror selfie with your affirmation right there. Keep that at the top of your mind because that's all that matters. The goals are going to change. These are just used for measuring. Even if you don't hit that goal, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We moved towards it. We use these parameters as a tool to help you free yourself and become the most true and fullest version of yourself, regardless. And I became a nutrition coach because I realized, people will do all this yoga with me. We're meditating, doing all this. And then I see on your Instagram, you're at fucking McDonald's. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, there's a disconnect happening. So now I teach healthy eating and stuff too. I do custom meal plans and all that stuff. Just because I know that when you have a stronger body, that's going to support all the spiritual work that you want to do. A stronger body, a stronger physical self is going to support your emotional self, is going to support your mental, everything else that you need, and the confidence that you're going to need in order to choose a different path. Separate yourself from your friends. Sometimes separate yourself from your family. Everybody who you thought was your support system is not always going to be your support system as you grow and change.
No.
So you need to become your own support system. And luckily you have a whole mind, body, and soul that are all supporting you if you can get them to function together and towards the same goal. And so for me, that's what yoga has allowed me to do, and has allowed it to be hard and be painful. I've cried, I've lost friends, things have been so, not always easy. It's not always like, oh, I'm all blissed out and I'm gonna go get a fucking green juice and everything's great. Like, no, sometimes I'm sobbing on my yoga mat and I feel like shit afterwards. But I know that I have the tools. And even in the day that I was like, you know what? McDonald's would cure me right now. I made that choice consciously. Yeah. I decided to do it. I'll deal with the heartburn tomorrow from a place of empowerment because I know that I made the choice. I know I'm going to deal with the consequence of that choice, and then I'm going to move forward. And that's the type of confidence that I want to instill in as many other people as possible. And
I love all of it. Like, I was literally just like absorbing it because I love all of it. Like, I think that, first of all, you and I, Coach, I feel like very similarly because this is where, but like I do not, because I am not a cookie cutter coach. I literally give like the guidelines, especially in the group that I do, like, because one, like, we're in a group, right? So I'm not going to sit there and be like dictating where everybody's going to go, but I've never been that way. Yeah, I've never been that way, but I do a lot of, like, when they first meet with me, we do, like, every person that comes into the group gets like an onboarding type situation where we have like that one-to-one conversation, and they do we talk about their human design a lot, because I think that sometimes people do not understand like that this is like who you are, and if you're fighting those things, like, that's going to be like putting you out of alignment in a lot of ways. Yeah, but at the same, and they love it because it's like, I'll be like, did you know this all came to fruition when the day you were born? So we talk about the human design work. I also have created a assessment that I do because my assessments used to be my bread and butter, even though I didn't really love all of the ones that were created, because I think some of them are just super falsified. Like the Myers-Briggs is a huge one that, like, depending on your mood, can change like at a freaking blip of an eye. Like, I hated it. Right. But like Enneagram, for example, I love Enneagram because Enneagram is not that way. Like, Enneagram goes very deep. Yeah. I'm not an expert on Enneagram, so I don't use that one, but like, I do enjoy that one. And if I feel like people would benefit from it, I do have resources I send to them. But the one that I created is I created an assessment. And I'm still trying to figure out how to actually get it, because technology and me are not friends, to be like an auto trigger response for them. But right now we just kind of go through it together, like on a call, and it's for chakra balancing. And so what I do is I tell them, like, this is for you to sort of do like it's like a gauge, right? To be like, where are you at right now? Like, so if you feel like shit's hitting the fan all the time and your day is like all going to crap and like you're not feeling very good, chances are something's out of whack, right? Like something's not aligned in your body. So it's like kind of sit for a second and like realign yourself and see, where is this in my body, right? And what is this feeling? And I get them to do that intentionally because then when we go into the group, they can do this on an automatic basis and just do the check-ins. And I have a section in the group where it goes each chakra. So like if they are feeling out aligned in each one, they can go through that process and just kind of like reset it and because they're not used to it. They don't know how to do it. So I help them and guide them through that. But I love it because I'm like, this is for like, I'm going to lead you in a meditation, or I'm going to help you like digest this situation and like give it to you to like open the chakra, release the energy or the pent up emotion that's there and take in what you need, right? Like, because it's about really releasing the negative and embracing the positive and bringing that in to feed your body. But like, that's why I do that with every single person so that they can see it. And then we create the goals as well, right? We create those goals so that they can like see where they're going. And some of them just really don't know yet. And I said, okay, listen, you don't have to be specific. Just give me like kind of like a umbrella view of what you want to do. And then we can always reassess it later. We can always like, kind of check them down later. But it's like, if you don't have something to reach for, you're just not going to go anywhere. And so
it's like, why are we here?
Exactly. And I love them. I love the affirmation that you do. I call it like the mantra, right? Like what's the mantra? What's the thing that you want to, same thing, but it's synonymous. But when I do trainings, I always talk about the British rowing story. And I don't know if have you ever heard that? The British rowing story? Okay. So you might have once I start to tell, but like basically the synopsis is that in, I think it was like 1924 was like the last time that the British rowing team won any kind of Olympic medal for rowing. And so it was the 94 Olympics. And they were, I'm horrible with dates, as I say, I'm like the 90s. But in the 90s, the British rowing team, like on paper, looked horrible because people were just kind of signing up willy-nilly. They didn't understand because they were like literally the crap team. They were like what are they called? Like the bad news bears, basically, of the rowing team. Kind of like, we're just throwing it together because we're supposed to put a team together. And it was like what they could find, right? And so the coach that year decided like, no, we're not going to lose. We're not going to be the thing that they think we are. This is not going to happen, right? So he told the team, he got them together and he said, listen, from here until we compete at the Olympics, your question that you're asking yourself, like your mantra, your entire mission is going to be like, will this make the boat go faster? Like you're going to ask yourself. Yeah. So anytime you want to miss practice, is that going to make the boat go faster? Anytime you want to eat something horrible for yourself, is that going to make the boat go faster? Every time you want to sleep in and skip warm up, is that going to make the boat go faster? So for like a year, they did this and they they were like literally holding each other accountable. And so every time somebody wanted to crap out, is like, is that going to make the boat go faster? Like they would ask that question. And so when the Olympic time came, not only did they podium, but they won gold. And they weren't even supposed to do anything when they got to the paper, right? So I tell people, what the fuck? They're like, who are these people? Anyway, so like, but it's a testament to what your brain can do for you and also what your body can handle, right? Because your brain's going to want to crap out before your body does. And so like, it's that mantra of like, what is that question you're going to ask yourself to keep you motivated every day? Like, is this going to make my goals come faster? Is this going to make my weight loss come quicker? Is this going to make my whatever it is that you want to ask yourself? And you can put that on your freaking mirror or wherever else. I always, since I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, I always go like, I say, make it the background screen of your computer. Yeah, because you're looking at it all the time. And so you can look away from a mirror, but you cannot look away. Like you have to have your screen up. Right. So like, it's sometimes I do that, because I'm like, I used to do the mirror thing. And then I was like, I feel like they can just not look at it. Like, and so I started doing the computer screen, but it's a guidepost for them to keep pushing forward, because I don't ever want to be the person that gives them like the restrictions, right? Because if I am, then how are they supposed to be successful without me? Like I'm like at some point they're not going to need me anymore, which is the mission. And
That's the whole point.
that
I
is the
don't
whole
want you to
point.
need me. I just want to meet you where you are when you do need some help, and it doesn't even have to be me. This is not about me
No.
at all.
No, and like
I'm not even here.
and that was like the reason why I liked the group was because I know some women don't want to leave groups because of the community. And so I said, like, you don't have to leave this group though, because this is not dependent on me. This group is literally dependent on you. And it's like one of those things of like, if you want to stay in here and you feel like you've learned a lot from me, and maybe you can't learn anything else from me, but what about the woman standing next to you? Like, what can you teach her? Like, what could you teach her? Or what could you learn from this person? Because that's why I wanted to create a community that wasn't just based off of me. But it was like, for my one-to-ones, of course I want them to not need me anymore at some point, because that's more of that reliable codependency. But the group is more about like the community itself. And so that's the difference in it, and creating, and for people that are like, well, I don't know if I want to join an official group. Well, create your own, create your own community while you're going through all of these things. But there's a lot of women that I know, especially if they work online because they're entrepreneurs, they don't have the community. And so that's why I was like, let's give them a community. Let's just do that and like not break their bank or their wallet and make it fun, so
Let's just come together, kumbaya.
exactly. But that's like yoga too, because like sometimes it's like you like working out, even like yoga, working out, any kind of group activity. I go to my gym all the time because it's the same people at the same time that I go all the time with, and I love it because we hold each other accountable. It's like, I have a coach that like, I pretty much have the same coach every single time I go. And so a couple of times I didn't show up at the gym. She's like, where the heck have you been? Like,
it's like, knowing that someone gives a fuck is nice.
I know, exactly. And that's what we're here for. We're here to guide them and not actually dictate where they should be at a specific time or get frustrated by their lack of completion. It's more about the fact that like you're going to get what you put into it, and you got to step out otherwise. Like, because I can't control how anybody else completes anything.
Right. I care because I care. That's just how I am.
Like, it's like, I'm here for you.
Apologize to me for shit. Like, people, sometimes clients will be like, oh, like, I'm sorry I didn't do, whatever meditation you sent me or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, don't apologize to me. How do you feel? Did you feel like you didn't need it, or did you feel like you do need it? Okay, you're apologizing because you felt like you did need it and you didn't do it. That's okay. So we're gonna reframe today's session then, and I'm just gonna give you the meditation now, because clearly you just weren't able to make time for it before, but we have this appointment already set, so let's do it now.
Yeah. And I think
you're behind.
And I think some people do apologize because they need that validation for a second that you're still in their corner, even if they didn't. And I don't think validation is always bad. Like, I think sometimes validation is needed. And so it's like they needed that validation, like, oh, they're not actually mad at me, or because they start to look at you as like you are a leader in that way. Right. And so it's like, oh, I didn't want to disappoint you. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to upset you. And it's like, you're not upsetting me. This was not for me. So I am fine. And I said, but I want you to take a step back and say, like, are you apologizing because you're worried that I'm upset, or are you apologizing because you're like really honestly upset with yourself that you didn't do it? And that's like, that's what it is. And so, and like, you own that, you own it, and it's okay. And give yourself grace and stop beating yourself up, because today's a whole new day and we can keep moving.
Also, if it was so fucking easy for you to do this every day and keep showing up without help, then you wouldn't have hired me to help you.
Exactly.
I'm here because it's not easy to do it on your own, and you do need someone to constantly check in on you. And so I'm just here constantly checking in on you. Well, and
the bottom line is that none of this work is easy, because it's fucking hard. And if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
You are already a level up because you chose to do it. Like,
exactly.
You're already vibrationally higher.
You looked into it. You found someone who's super excited to help you. We're for your calls. Like, you're already doing the damn thing. Like, this is how it starts. I love the new trend of like ominous positivity. That's so me. It's like your success is literally inevitable. Like, better days are coming. You you're doing the action that will manifest as this thing. You can't avoid it now. You already started doing it. Like, what you want, what you are seeking is already seeking you. You already put the wheels into motion. You already are becoming a magnet. You're attracting the shit now. So, sorry, but you're gonna be successful.
You will not fail. Failure doesn't exist here. Yeah, no, I love that. Like, I love it. Yeah. Like hashtag sorry, hashtag not sorry. I know, I love it. I just honestly, I love talking to you and getting your feedback on all the things and the you know, just the people that you work with. And I think you're serving like a very needing population that is, like I said, just goes unrecognized. And so this is a reminder to all you people to tip your wait staff very healthfully. And also
so they can hire a health coach.
exactly so they can hire her, and to you know, just be mindful of the fact that when you are going through growth, it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it at the other side, and that it is an eternal journey process, but that's nothing to fear. It's to be embraced. And I think that is a huge thing. We are going to pop Sienna's, like we always do, on the YouTube as well as the Apple and Spotify podcast recordings, all her links, all the things, so you can follow her on social media, especially if you are in a wait staff situation or maybe even the nursing population, that we can, you know, get you contacted with her, because that would be like, if you're vibing with her and what she's bringing to the table, I think that would be very helpful for all of you to just kind of check her out, see what she's doing. And then when this airs, you probably will be a mama at that point. So when you start to look her up, then you can you know, shout her out and give her some congratulations for being a mom. But I loved having you. I definitely would have you back on for sure, and maybe with a baby in tow next time. And
oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, girl, you know, it's such a good thing that you're doing, and I think it's really cool because you do not fit in the best ways. You know what I'm saying? Like you are out of pocket in like the best ways, and I think that that's going to be phenomenal for you down the road, because I think too your kid's gonna look at it and be like, oh man, my mom is like cool as shit. You know what I mean? Because you're out of pocket, and I love it. And the people that are out of pocket are the people that actually make the most, I think, sustainable change in the world, because they're not trying to fit in any kind of place. It's just that they're meeting people where they at, truthfully, because there's more of us that are actually quote unquote out of pocket than we realize, because people are hiding behind the screen, right, in social media. So,
and you spend so much time making yourself uncomfortable because you're trying to fit into the box, and you're trying to answer the question, what's wrong with me? And my answer to that is not shit.
No, nothing's wrong with you. You just are you, and you need to start embracing that. And like I say to all my ladies, I'm like, you just need to come back home. Stop trying to figure out where you actually fit, and just recognize that you already do, right? Like that's the thing.
Right here.
Yep, exactly. But it's hard because we don't see it all the time, because we've been conditioned otherwise. So, but anyway, but it's been
to raise my son and teach him everything from day one.
I know, exactly, right. Give him the leg up that we didn't get, right? Exactly. But it's been great to have you, and we will see everybody on the next one. So have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.